Hello and welcome to Locri and my hotel. Today we're going to talk about Die Hard with a Vengeance, the third Die Hard movie. I'm always a little surprised that it took 5 years with such a successful franchise to make a third movie. And when it came out, it had raving reviews. It had John McTiernan back as a director. I don't know how many fucks Bruce Willis gives in this movie, but at least he gave half a fuck for this one, I would say. So, let us take a look at the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance. A big bomb goes off in New York City, and a man calls in to the police to say that he is responsible for it. And he calls himself Simon, and he said that he wants to play a game with John McClane. The voice on the other end, Simon, is of course Jeremy Irons. That's a great idea for this movie. They find a slightly hungover and bit of a washed up version of John McClane. They explain the situation to him, and soon he's entangled in performing different kinds of difficult or barely impossible tasks for Simon, where as he runs around New York and tries to stop different bombs. Along with him comes a very, very reluctant partner in the form of a store owner from Harlem, Zeus, played by Samuel L. Jackson. That's a good idea also, by the way. And they're gonna try to, do his tasks and stop Simon's bombs from going off. And at the same time, they're trying to figure out what his end game is. Why does he hate John McClane so much? Who is Simon anyway? And this is basically the premise for this movie. It is a task-based movie that moves 180 miles per hour. It is almost from the get-go. It is boom, 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 boom. We just go, go, go all the time. And the pacing of this one is fucking amazing. They just move so fast from one action set piece to one action set piece. It is a grand, spectacular, and funny movie. It has great chemistry with our two main leads. This is peak Jackson before he became a little bit of a self-parody of himself. And Bruce Willis sometimes actually gives a fuck in this one. Not too many times, but he does. And we also have one of the greatest voices in Hollywood, Jeremy Irons, being the bodiless, menacing voice on the other end. I didn't say, Simon says. These things combined creates a very exciting action movie that most people hail as the second best in the franchise. I, however, disagree, because I think that the second one is my favorite of the Die Hard sequels. For some reason, every Die Hard movie has come out with diminishing returns. They gradually getting less and less exciting. The last one, A Good Day to Die Hard. Yeah, A Good Day to Die Hard was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So this one is in the middle, but it is still a great movie. I have two small major things that I don't like about this movie, but we'll get them in a second. But because the stunts are so great. The action sequences are fantastic. It's a big old love letter to action movies taking place in New York City. They really use the city to its maximum. I will say that the scenario of the movie doesn't feel particularly Die Hard. I wouldn't be surprised if this was from the beginning a completely different movie that had nothing to do with Die Hard, and they just slapped the Die Hard title on it once they got Bruce Willis to star. That's just a hunch I have. It is funny, it's fast-paced, and we have some absolutely great lines especially from Jackson, who seems to have the time of his life, and this is really great stuff. I do have to address the fact that there are two things in this movie that I think is pulling this movie a little bit down with it. Not too much, but a little bit. The side plot with Jackson's child friends that he has, and the school evacuation thing and the search and all that stuff, that kind of didn't work out for me too much. I thought it was distracting from the main plot of the movie. I also think that the last 10 to 15 minutes of this one is terribly unexciting. After you've had all of these explosions and excitements and big action set pieces and chases through tunnels and all that fantastic stuff, you end on arguably a kind of boring action sequence that really doesn't work when you have the extreme drama of the first one and, let's face it, not the greatest ending of the second one, but nevertheless, because they had an original ending which they completely scrapped. I understand why, because it changed the tone of the movie and it changed the atmosphere of the movie completely. It was better, but it was still wrong. Now I have a small solution, which is going to be a bonus chapter on this little video when I think about how I would have, ended the movie. But I will do that from the purple room because I want to save my SD cards. I don't have unlimited amounts of them. But back to the movie. If you like action movies, this is a movie you should see. If you like the first two Die Hard movies, this is definitely a movie you should see. If you have never seen a Die Hard movie before, I think that you can always begin with this one, but because it's not necessary to see them in order, but I think this one is absolutely terrific. This is an absolutely great popcorn movie, and if you haven't seen it, see it. It is a direct order. Despite its little naff ending, I'm still gonna give this movie a solid 81 points. It is a great, pretty smart, pretty unpredictable, and very spectacular action movie with lots of very colorful characters, a great villain, Bruce Willis who gives a little bit of a fuck, and a great Samuel L. Jackson to top it all off with. It may not be high art, but it is still a great, great action movie. This is my hotel here in Locri in Calabria, and soon we'll move on to even greener pastures here in Italy, I think, and we'll see where soon enough, but I'll see you next time from, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.